All right, Kevin back with you for another episode of the $1 Million Relationships Podcast. And today I'm here with Andrea and Jessica Lamesa. Welcome to the show, you two. It is so awesome to have you here today.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so much.
having us.
You know what? And I think this is the first time I have ever, well, hardly ever do I do an interview with two people. I mean, I have done interviews with co-founders, but I've usually do it separate from each other. But this is definitely the first time that I've done an interview with co-founders who are also husband and wife. And I am really looking forward to this conversation today, and we're going to have a great conversation. And so what I want to do, before we get going though, I want to give a shout out to Lauren because Lauren Hyde. So what is she kind of the PR person for your company or a PR person? How? Because she reached out to me on Quoted. And that's
Mhm.
a platform that, I found some amazing guests for this podcast by using that platform. And Lauren reached out to me, just did a brilliant job of talking you guys up and saying, Kevin, this is why I think they'd make a great guests for your podcast. And man, I just want to honor her for that. And but yeah, is she a PR person for you, or what's her role in your guys' life?
Yeah, so we actually contract out our PR to a
Oh,
wonderful agency called the Abbey Agency, and Lauren works with the Abbey Agency. But we're really, yeah, they do an incredible job for us, so we're also very thankful to them.
yeah, she definitely does. It's awesome when they just are so passionate about getting the word out about you guys because it comes through loud and clear. And after reading what she sent over to me, I'm like, heck yeah, I want to talk with them and get to know them. And of course, we already got to have that conversation, and now here we are again for getting together to do the interview. And I've really been looking forward to this. And so so I'll just start off with a nice, simple question to get us started here. What do you guys do, and who do you serve?
Yeah, for sure. So we are co-CEOs of an organization called The Life You Can Save.
Okay.
Our mission is to lift people out of extreme poverty by changing the way people think about and donate to charity. So
Okay.
we are an intermediary organization, meaning we do research to identify the highest impact granting opportunities across health, education, and livelihoods. And
Okay.
then we connect donors through marketing and fundraising activities to move as much money as possible to these granting opportunities that reach the most deprived populations on Earth, principally in sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. And so we really do that in three ways. The first thing we do is publish a list of charities online that are vetted and meet a very high standard versus our evaluation framework, so scoring against our evaluation framework to make it as simple as possible for a donor of any size to come to our website, look at our research because it's all there. Full evaluations of every organization that we recommend are all there online and give donors really a high level of confidence that no matter how much money they're giving, from $5 to $500,000, they're having real impact. The second thing we do is we offer funds. Principally, the Maximize Your Impact Fund is our flagship fund product, and
Okay.
that allows donors to pool their grants with other donors and gives us the discretion to allocate that funding to the highest impact grant opportunities that we can find across the ecosystem at the time. So we even look for grants beyond our list of recommended charities. And
Okay.
so we're really out there diligencing and identifying the highest impact grant opportunities to really deliver real impact and reach as many beneficiaries as we can for a very cost effective rate that we can. And then the third thing we do is we offer advisory services. So we work with private individuals, foundations, philanthropic advisors, or others in the ecosystem to help them either have access to highly vetted deal flow, so specific granting opportunities,
Okay.
all the way up to really developing their funding strategy, thinking about how they would fund in extreme poverty, using evidence and data to really make more informed giving decisions.
Wow. Wow. So now I'm curious, how did you guys get into this? When I was a kid, I wanted to be a fireman. I never did become a fireman, and I would have never imagined I'd be getting to do the work that I do get to do these days. But how did you guys get into doing what you do? What's the backstory to all of this?
Well, maybe I can talk about that. So we actually, our career were in a very different industry. So we both work in the tech industry, software industry in San
Okay.
Francisco.
Okay.
I, yeah, I mean, I discovered my passion when I was 15. I discovered computers and coding, and I'm like, I just want to be in the world of software. And we have done that for many years in San Francisco, both like me starting my own company and then also working for some startups in San Francisco. And then at some point, we decided that we had felt we had reached the milestones that we had set for ourselves, and we wanted to do something different and also more meaningful.
Mhm.
And that's when we transitioned from the tech world to philanthropy.
Okay.
And so we also thought that we could bring everything that we learned in the private sector and in tech to accelerate the growth of this nonprofit organization.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So well, let me reframe that. What inspires you both most about the impact that you get today make in the work that you guys are doing? I don't know, maybe it's a little bit different for each of you. I don't know, but what inspires you most about it?
Yeah, I think for me it's the this idea that life is a lottery, and like the people who are experiencing the effects of extreme poverty live a quality of life that is very depriving in many ways. And I believe that it could have just as easily have been me. And so if I was in that position, I would hope that people would help us. And I think there's enough resources in the world to help these people and make this world a little bit more just and fair, and into a place where, there aren't children in the world dying from starvation. There aren't people dying of easily treatable and preventable diseases. Um, these things just seem unnecessary. And so for me, it's really about us helping as many people as possible, saving as many lives as possible, and making this world a little bit better. Um, that keeps me at the work. The other thing is the people who also do the work, right? They're very inspiring, like the people who commit their lives, and the people who donate and understand that with their privilege, they can do so much, and it doesn't necessarily take a huge amount of money. Every little dollar, every single dollar matters, and so it's the people who recognize that privilege that are so inspiring, that keep me engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, like I want a life of like success and meaning. I think you can have both things.
Yeah.
And I think in this field of work, you can both be successful because you're truly helping people, and it has meaning because it makes me a better human, right? I think the world is fundamentally unjust, and I can do something about it. And so when I do something about it, I just become a better human. And so that gives meaning to my life. And so I think it's really these two things together.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. We can use our gifts to make a real difference, to make a real impact in this world. And for me, I know, i- impact is what leads to revenue. The bigger impact we make, the more revenue that gets created and stuff. It's not the other way around. And and you're right, you can do good by doing well and helping others. And that's like really inspiring. And well, so what is a result? It sounds like your focus is most, I mean, while you help a lot of nonprofits and stuff, you're mostly interacting with the people who are giving and donating to the nonprofits is where you spend a lot of your time and focused effort. And so what is a result that you have helped to get either for your client or for one of the nonprofits that you guys get to serve that you're just incredibly proud of? And maybe there's more than one, and maybe you each have multiple. I don't know. I'll just kind of leave that open for you to share what feels right.
Yeah, so mine would definitely be the Rapid Response Fund. So in
Okay.
2025, after the shuttering of USAID, which was creating a significant funding gap and major issues for many of the nonprofits doing implementation work on the ground.
Okay.
We partnered with an organization called Founders Pledge, and we created what we called the Rapid Response Fund with the idea to raise as much money as we possibly could to fill in and say and close as many gaps as we could for the organizations doing incredible, cost-effective, impactful work on the ground. And in the end, we raised a little over $13 million, and we were able to
Wow.
make some really incredible grants. And so, in that time of crisis where, you had children being turned away from getting tuberculosis treatment and sheer a bit of chaos with organizations not understanding if they'd be able to fund certain programs or medications or commodities blocked in warehouses and not being able to be used. We were able to do our little part to help save lives. And I think
Yeah.
in the end, it's estimated that we saved about 4,700 children's lives with the.
Wow.
And I think it's important to put that in context, like whether the number is 4,700 or 470 or even 40, like my life would be complete if I had saved only one life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about that. And so with money, you can have orders of magnitude of impact.
Yeah.
And yeah, 10, 13 million might not do a lot in the developed world when you look at the budget of countries. But then if it's deployed properly in the developing world, it can have like an outsized impact. And
Yeah.
us being like data driven and trying to maximize the impact we can get, this is really what we focus on because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow, that is, man, I'm getting goosebumps just listening to you guys share your stories and experiences. I mean, that's got to make you feel so good that you're just having that kind of impact, and that we don't have to compare ourselves with what somebody else or some other organization is doing. It's like, look at what you guys are doing. This is phenomenal. And I mean, it's definitely inspiring for sure. So, well, okay, so now that we've got a little bit of context set here and people have a little bit of an idea of what you guys are all about, I want to shift gears just a little bit and I want to talk about the relationship side of all of this. So, and all, Andrea, we'll just start with you, and then the same question will apply for both of you, but we'll just let you share first, Andrea, and then Jessica will let you share. So, the question I want to ask is: have you ever been introduced to a person or persons who completely changed the course of your life or your business, so much so that much of what you have today would not be possible if not for this person or persons? And I'm just really excited to hear your story and your experience around this topic of relationships.
Yeah, so it did happen to me at the beginning of my career. So I was born and raised in Italy, but then my biggest passion was software. And so I realized that not much was happening in my country. And I had
Okay.
to find a way to move to San Francisco, which early in your career, it is actually really hard to just move overseas and to the US. And so I was introduced to someone that was probably 15 years ahead of me in terms of career. He had worked in the US, worked in Italy, and he became my mentor. And over
Okay.
months, we would have conversations and I would ask for advice. And I think he's probably not even aware that it changed my trajectory. But basically, I had found the path to get to the US, which was a Fulbright scholarship focused on entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And I had decided that I would not apply because I thought I wouldn't be good enough to even pass. And I had maybe fear of rejection. And I was sharing this with him at a cocktail party. It was completely informal. And then he said, I think you should apply. I think you can do it. And then I went back home and I applied. And the deadline was like the week after. And so
Okay.
then I got the scholarship. I moved to the US and then my career changed completely. And so while he might not be aware of the impact he had, and all he did was like say a couple of words, I think he was really genuine in what he was saying. And it also was the right thing that I needed to say to hear at the time. And so
Yeah.
I think that that person and that quick advice really changed my career.
Wow. So how long ago was that, Andrea, that you came to the US?
2010, I think.
2010. Okay. So at the
Yeah.
time of this recording, that's like 16 years ago. So that's a big shift that took place, a big move that took place. And look at everything that has happened in your life since then, both business-wise and personal-wise, you know. And you were wanting to say something else, I think. You
Yeah,
needed to.
it's also when we met. Like
Yeah.
I moved to the
Yeah.
US and then we met like a few weeks later.
Oh wow. You met just shortly after you even got to the US. Wow, very cool. Very cool. Well, Jessica, let's let you share your answer to that same question.
Yeah. Well, I hope your listeners don't think it's too cheesy, but my answer is actually Andrea,
Okay.
because if you think about it, I'm American. I was living and working in San Francisco. My
Okay.
dream was to get to New York, which I did at some point, and live and work in New York and try to like grow my career. But Andrea is Italian, and so we met, and it opened up a world of opportunities, not just for creating family, getting married, creating family, but also we've since moved abroad. We actually live in Switzerland, and that's something that I don't know that would have ever happened for me had I not met him, and that's a dramatic change. And also the support he's always given in career, and then doing this job together has really empowered me in a way that maybe I wasn't before. And so, yeah, I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
That's that is awesome. That is awesome. So how long have you guys been doing this work together now?
So
you.
September will be 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years.
Well,
Okay.
about, yeah.
And she did 1 year prior to that. So
Yeah.
4 years for her, three for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. Well, for anybody that might be listening to this and thinking like, wow, Kevin, I just really like Andrea and Jessica. I love who they are. I love how they show up and I'm really intrigued by the work that they're doing. And I'd like to find out more about that. Is there a website or any resources we could share with folks?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to our website, which is www.thelifeyoucansave.org.
Okay.
And there you have access to easily make a donation. You can go to the research tab and look at the evaluation hub, which you can see the full evaluations, including, cost effectiveness analyses for all of the organizations we recommend. You can look at the funds and see what types of grants we've been making with detail on, number of people reached and the metric either DALI or ALAY or ROI, depending on the sector. And you can find contact information if you want to reach out to somebody, but you can also reach out to
Reach
us
out to us.
at our email addresses. Mine is jlm@thelifeyoucansave.org,
Okay.
and your
And mine is Andrea at thelifeyoucansave.org.
Okay. Well, I will make sure that we include that with the show notes. So if you're, watching this, then just right down below, you can see the show notes. It'll have that information, it'll have their website, their emails, and all of that. I'll make sure we include that and stuff. Is there any last thing that either of you will feel led to share before we call it a wrap?
No, I guess to thank you for the opportunity to share about our work and reach
Yeah.
people that hopefully haven't heard how easy it is and how little money it takes to have real impact. And I repeat, every donation matters, from $10, $5, $1, anything matters, particularly when you put it in a fund and it gets pooled with other donors, so we can make really, really impactful grants and help make this world a little bit better for those who
Yeah.
are the most deprived.
Yeah, and I thank you for your curiosity because what we do is a little bit technical. Like this is not like a shiny, cool tech startup. It is like a niche of philanthropy, like data-driven philanthropy. It is technical, it is about numbers, and it is about impact, and it's not for everyone. So when you showed up with curiosity to learn more, we really appreciated that. So I just wanted to thank you for that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, and thank you again for taking the time to have this conversation today, you guys. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate both of you, and I'm excited to get this out there and share it with folks. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.